In this lesson, I will share a complete guide that you can use to configure your VS Code with a lot of useful extensions for Flutter development. And of course, you have a few different IDEs that you can use to write your Flutter apps, and maybe VS Code is not your favorite choice. But as far as this course goes, I will be using VS Code, which I have already configured for Flutter development. And one thing that you will notice once we start writing some code is that I have enabled on-screen previews for any shortcuts that I use during development. For example, if I want to open the terminal or the debug console, I often do that using a keyboard shortcut so that I don't waste any time navigating the menus. And I'll also do the same if I need the command palette or if I quickly need to find a certain file on the project. And of course, we'll be using keyboard shortcuts during development, and I hope that having a preview of all the important shortcuts on screen will help you. Speaking of that, I've also written an article that goes through all the shortcuts, extensions, and settings that I use for Flutter development. In particular, I highly recommend that you install all the extensions that I've included over here, because we will often use them as we make progress. And likewise, I've also shared a list of settings that I use on a day-to-day basis, and these can also help us save some time and focus on the most important things. So once again, I recommend that you go through this article and install all the recommended extensions. And of course, if you don't like VS Code and want to use IntelliJ or Android Studio instead, you are completely free to do so, and I have a free guide about that as well. However, if you don't use VS Code, then you'll have to work out all the corresponding shortcuts for your IDE of choice. Okay, so let's continue on the next lesson.